principle of inclusion and exclusion. So before moving to the given result, let us discuss about the Venn diagram which is shown in this slide. So for that, I am going to consider a set capital S. Let C1 and C2 denote the conditions satisfied by some of the elements of S. From this Venn diagram, we see that if n of C1 denotes the number of elements of S in the left hand circle and n of C2 denotes the number of elements in the right hand circle, and n of C1 C2 is the number of these elements from S in the overlap, while n of C1 bar C2 bar denotes those elements of S that are outside the union of these two circles. Then from the figure we can see that n of C1 bar C2 bar is equal to, that is n, which is the n minus n of C1 plus n of C2 plus n of C1 C2. Here capital N denotes the number of elements in the set S there, that is cardinality of S. Similarly, again we have three conditions. I am going to consider again a set S, and let C1, C2, C3 be the conditions satisfied by some of these elements of the set S. So again from this Venn diagram I can come to the result that n of C1 bar, C2 bar, C3 bar is equal to n minus of n of C1 plus n of C2 plus n of C3 plus n of C1 C2 plus n of C1 C3 plus n of C2 C3 minus n of C1 C2 C3. So we have come across two results, that is what is n of C1 bar C2 bar and n of C1 bar C2 bar and n of C1 bar C2 bar C3 bar. Having seen these results, now it's time to generalize these results and establish the principle of inclusion and exclusion. So I'm again generalizing these results. Let S be the set with cardinality of S equal to n there, and let C1, C2, etc. Ct be a collection of T conditions or properties, each of which may be satisfied by some elements of S there. So for all 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to T, n of Ci will denote the number of elements in S that satisfies the condition Ci. Again, for all ij belongs to set 1, 2, etc. up to T, where I is not equal to j, n of Ci Cj will denote the number of elements in S, both of which will satisfy the conditions Ci and Cj. And for each 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to T, n of Ci bar is equal to n minus n of Ci, which denotes the number of elements in S that do not satisfy the condition Ci there. If 1 less than or equal to I, j less than or equal to T with I not equal to j, then n of Ci bar Cj bar will denote the number of elements in S that do not satisfy either of the conditions Ci and Cj. Now let us generalize our result and see the result here. So consider a set with cardinality of S is equal to n and the conditions Ci for 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to T, each of which may be satisfied by some of the elements of S. The number of elements of S that satisfies none of the conditions Ci, where 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to T, is denoted by n bar, which is equal to n of C1 bar and n of C1 bar, C2 bar, etc. Ct bar, where n bar is equal to n minus n of C1 plus n of C2 plus etc. n of Ct plus n of C1 C2 plus etc. n of C1 Ct plus n of C2 C3 plus etc. n of Ct minus 1 Ct minus of n of C1, C2, C3 plus n of C1, C2, C4 plus etc. n of C1, C2, Ct plus n of C1, C3, C4 plus etc. n of C1, C3, Ct plus etc. n of Ct minus 2 Ct minus 1 Ct plus etc. plus minus 1 the whole raised to t n of C1, C2 etc. Ct. So as we know that this formula is not so in notation we can write it as n bar is equal to n minus sigma 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to t n of Ci plus sigma 1 less than or equal to I comma j less than or equal to t n of Ci Cj minus sigma 1 less than or equal to I comma j comma k less than or equal to t n of Ci Cj Ck plus etc. plus minus 1 the whole raised to t n of C1 C2 etc. up to Ct. This is the summation notation for the above result there. Now in order to make our formula somewhat simpler, we can look at the next result also, that is n bar is equal to S0 minus S1 plus S2 plus etc. plus minus 1 the whole raised to t St, where S0 is equal to n there, S1 is equal to n of C1 plus n of C2 plus etc. n of Ct, S2 is equal to n of C1 C2 plus etc. n of C1 Ct plus n of C2 C3 etc. n of Ct minus 1 Ct and etc. St is equal to n of C1 C2 etc. Ct. So this is what our principle of inclusion and exclusion theorem says, that is n bar is equal to S0 minus S1 plus S2 plus etc. plus minus 1 the whole raised to t into St. Now let us see an example. Let S represent the set of 100 students enrolled in the let S represent the set of 100 students enrolled in the freshman engineering program at Central College. Then cardinality of S is equal to 100. Now let C1, C2 denote the following conditions or properties satisfied by some of the elements of S there. C1 is, the condition C1 states that a student at the Central College is among the 100 students in the freshman engineering program and is enrolled in freshman composition. C2, the condition C2 states that a student at Central College is among the 100 students in freshman engineering program and is enrolled in the Introduction to Economics. Suppose that 35 of these 100 students are enrolled in freshman composition and 30 of them are enrolled in Introduction to Economics. Given that 9 of these 100 students are enrolled in both freshman composition and Introduction to Economics. Now the questions are, how many students are not taking freshman composition? Second question, how many students are not taking Introduction to Economics? The number of students who are taking freshman composition and who are not taking Introduction to Economics. The number of students who are taking Introduction to Economics and who are not taking freshman composition. And the last question, the number of students who are taking neither freshman composition nor Introduction to Economics. So let us discuss this question once again. Let's move to the question. So we have total 100 students. Given that in a Central College we have 100 students there enrolled, which are enrolled in freshman engineering program. So cardinality of S, which is equal to capital N, is equal to 100 there. We have two conditions given. That is, first condition is that the students are enrolled in freshman composition, and the second condition C2 says that the students who are enrolled in Introduction to Economics. Now the next line says that out of these 100 students, The students which are enrolled in freshman composition are 35. That is n of C1. If you are taking we know that C1 is the condition stating that the students enrolled in freshman composition. So the number of students enrolled in freshman composition, that is n of C1, is equal to 35. And the number of students enrolled in Introduction to Economics, which is denoted by n of C2, that is equal to 30. So from the question we got what our n is, that is n is equal to 100, n of C1, that is students enrolled in freshman composition, is equal to 35, n of C2, that is students enrolled in Introduction to Economics, that is equal to 30. Next line says that given that 9 of these 100 students are enrolled in both freshman composition and Introduction to Economics. So from this data we get that n of C1 C2 is equal to 9 there. Now let's move one by one to our questions. Okay, so the first question is how many students are not taking the freshman composition? Okay, so the students enrolled in freshman composition is the condition C1 there. So here we have to find the number of students who are not taking the freshman composition. That says we have to find n of C1 bar. How is n of C1 bar found? N of C1 bar is equal to n minus n of C1. Okay, that is 100 minus 35, which is equal to 65. That is 65 students are not taking the freshman composition. Now the second question is how many students are not taking Introduction to Economics? The students enrolled in Introduction to Economics is the condition C2 there. So in this question we have to find what is n of C2 bar. So how is n of C2 bar found? N of C2 bar is equal to n minus n of C2. Our capital N is 100, n of C2 is 30 there. So 100 minus 30, which is equal to 70. So 70 students are not taking Introduction to Economics. Now let's move to the next question, that is the third question. How many students are taking freshman composition but not taking Introduction to Economics? So here we have to find what is n of C1 C2 bar. So n of C1 C2 bar is equal to n of C1 minus n of C1 C2. So this is equal to 35 minus 9, which is equal to 26. N of C1 is 35, n of C1 C2 is 9 there. So we gives n of C1 C2 bar, which is equal to 35 minus 9, which is equal to 26 there. Next question, the number of students who are taking Introduction to Economics and who are not taking freshman composition. That says n of C1 bar C2. How to calculate n of C1 bar C2? That is n of C2 minus n of C1 C2, which is equal to n of C2 is 30, n of C1 C2 is 9 here. So 30 minus 9 is equal to 21. That is 21 students are taking Introduction to Economics, but they are not taking freshman composition. Now the last question, the number of students who are taking neither freshman composition nor Introduction to Economics, that is n of C1 bar C2 bar, that is n minus n of C1 plus n of C2 plus n of C1 C2. N is 100, n of C1 is 35, n of C2 is 30, n of C1 C2 is 9. That is 100 minus of 35 plus 30 minus 9, which is equal to 44 there. Now let us move to the next question. Determine the number of positive integers n where 1 less than n less than 100 and n is not divisible by 2, 3 or 5. Here set S is equal to 1, 2, 3 etc. up to 100 and capital N is equal to 100. For n belongs to 5, n satisfies the conditions. Condition A, if n is divisible by 2. Condition B, if n is divisible by 3. Condition C, if n is divisible by 5. So I consider my condition A, B, C as C1, C2, C3 in order to because our formula is fully in terms of C1, C2, C3. So instead of condition A, I'll denote condition A is denoted by C1, condition B is denoted by C2, condition C is denoted by C3 there. So the question here is, you are given that S is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 up to 100, N is equal to 100 there. We have to find we have to determine the number of positive integers n which is not divisible by 2, 3 or 5 there. That is, we have to find n of C1 bar, C2 bar, C3 bar. This is what our aim is. So we know that n of C1 bar, C2 bar, C3 bar is equal to, according to our formula, we have this is equal to n minus n of C1 plus n of C2 plus n of C3 plus n of C1 C2 plus n of C1 C3 plus n of C2 C3 minus n of C1 C2 C3. So as you know, our capital N is 100. So next we have to find what is n of C1. That is the condition, the number of elements satisfying the condition that is n is divisible by 2 there. So here we have come to the concept of the greatest so here we will come across to the condition that is greatest integer less than or equal to that number. So n of C1 denotes the number of elements which is if n is divisible by 2. That is greatest integer 100 by 2. That is greatest integer 100 by 2 is equal to 50. That is there are 50 numbers which are divisible by 2 there. So similarly n of C2 means that is greatest integer 100 by 3 there. That is it is the numbers which are divisible by 3. So there are 33 numbers which are divisible by 3 in this set 1, 2, 3 etc. up to 100 there. Next is n of C3, that is 100 by 5 there, that is if n is divisible by 5. That is we have 20 integers which are divisible by 5 in this set 1, 2 etc. up to 100 there. Similarly n of C1 C2, that is greatest integer 100 by 6, that is equal to 16. Next is n of C1 C3, that is greatest integer 100 by 10, which is equal to 10 there. Greatest integer n of C2 C3, which is equal to 100 by 15, that is equal to 6 there, and n of C1 C2 C3 is equal to 100 by 30, that is 3. There are 3 that is n of C1 C2 C3. So this is equal to 100 minus of 50 plus 33 plus 20 plus 16 plus 10 plus 6 minus 3, which is equal to 26. That is there are 26 positive integers which is not divisible by 2, 3 or 5 there. I hope you understood this example. So next we'll move to the next section, that is D arrangements, nothing in its right place. So before moving to that, let us see the example here. In how many ways we can arrange the numbers 1, 2, 3 etc. up to 10 so that 1 is not in the first place, its natural position, 2 is not in the second place etc. and 10 is not in the 10th place. These arrangements are called the D arrangements of 1, 2, 3 etc. up to 10 there. That is, they are not arranged in their natural position. The principle of inclusion and exclusion provides the key to calculate the number of D arrangements. For each, in a general case I am considering n as 10 here. For each 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to 10, an arrangement of 1, 2, 3 etc. up to 10 is to satisfy the condition Ci. That is, if integer I is in the ith place, we obtain the number of D arrangements denoted by D10 as follows. That is, D10 is denoted by capital D suffix 10, which is equal to 10 factorial into 1 minus 1 by 1 factorial plus 1 by 2 factorial minus 1 by 3 factorial plus etc. 1 by 10 factorial, which is equal to 10 factorial into E inverse. In general, we can say that the number of D arrangements of a set of a set with n elements is given by, the formula is that Dn is equal to n factorial into 1 minus 1 by 1 factorial plus 1 by 2 factorial minus 1 by 3 factorial plus etc. plus minus 1 raised to n into 1 by n factorial. For wherever the condition is that n should be greater than 1 then. So this is the formula for finding the number of D arrangement of a set having n elements. So let's move to the next question, that is list the number of D arrangements of 1, 2, 3 and 4 there. So first of all we have to know how many arrangements can this set consist of. So we will find, since there are only 4 elements there, we have to find what is D4 there. Sorry, I had a mistake there. It is not small letter d, it is capital, it is denoted by capital letter D. So capital letter D4 is equal to 4 factorial into 1 minus 1 by 1 factorial plus 1 by 2 factorial minus 1 by 3 factorial plus 1 by 4 factorial, which is equal to 9 there. So we have to make sure that there are 9 arrangements possible by this set there. So the arrangements are 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 1, 2, 4, 3, 2, 1. These are the 9 arrangements that I have made from this question. So this is what our module 1 tells. That is, these are the sections that are included in our module 1. So I hope you all understood these concepts. So thank you so much.